Sports 980 and 95.9 FM, as well as our free iHeartRadio app. If you want to get in touch with the show, you can on Facebook at Fox Sports 980, doing a Facebook Live there, or on For the Love of Sports on Facebook. If you want to call into the show, the number is 518 690 0980, 518 690 0980. Before I get into some sports, just wanted to wish everybody out there, all those mothers, happy Mother's Day. And we appreciate everything you guys do. If quarantine has taught us anything, it's the fact that it's a thankless gift for the mothers of our lives that constantly do this job of caring and loving and constantly creating a child and make them the personality that they are destined to be and always give them motivation, confidence, love, careness, everything that you can think of. And it's a thankless job. So often you hear me come on here and give you guys homework like, hey, go support a local business this weekend, once a week, whatever. Well, I'm telling you, do something special for moms today. But my homework for you guys, the listeners, is being a mother is a thankless job. So, as often as you can, every once in a while, it doesn't need to be every day, but that would be great. Go out there and just let your mom know how much they mean to you, even when it's not Mother's Day, because it is a thankless job. And when you take a look at what we've done in this quarantine, whether you're locked up with your kids, locked up with your wife, locked up with your boyfriend, whatever the case may be, you see a little bit of the struggle that the mom has juggling so many different things. So it really puts it in perspective with this quarantine. So if anything good comes out of quarantine, it's the fact that we've learned to appreciate not only the little things like going to sporting events, but we've learned to appreciate mothers even more than we already did. So that's my little take on that. Homework, try to show your appreciation outside of Mother's Day for your moms because they do a lot. They really do. And for those of you that are motherly figures, happy Mother's Day to you as well because you've done a great job of being role models for kids, even though they may not be your own. So we appreciate you as well. NFL, the gift that keeps on giving. And the NFL schedule release just came out. A lot of good stuff coming out. I did my take. I ran through the schedule, kind of did my must-watch television for every single week. Let's start off with week one. And not only week one, let's start off with the opening game. So as you know, on most occasions, if not almost every single occasion outside of a year or two, the defending Super Bowl champs open up the season on Thursday night. No different. September 10th, you have the Houston Texans traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs to play the opening day. So not only do you have the Chiefs playing on opening day, but you also have the Houston Texans, a team that had a 21-point lead on the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, opening up the season. So this is a great matchup between two teams that faced each other in the playoffs, and the Texans had multiple opportunities to win that game and could not pull it through. Another game to look out for, possibly week one matchup between rookie quarterbacks. You have the Los Angeles Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals. So a potential 6-1 matchup with rookie QBs. You have Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. If Justin Herbert can pull that job out from the legs of Tyrod Taylor, you're looking at a rookie matchup week one, which would be absolutely outstanding. You have Justin Herbert with that cannon arm and Joey Big Balls Burrow coming to Cincinnati, trying to have that same kind of impact that LeBron James had. Then you take a look at the most anticipated matchup of week one. The Tampa Bay Gronkaneers traveling to play the New Orleans Saints. You have two of the best quarterbacks of all time. I'm not saying they are the two best. I'm saying two of the best quarterbacks of all time. And Drew Brees and Tom Brady squaring off week one week one, outstanding. Then you have Arizona at San Francisco. And I know it's a week one matchup. Even though it's a divisional game, you can lose this game, still win the division. But Arizona, with a rookie, Kyler Murray, played San Francisco so well. You get another year of Kyler Murray growing. You get another year of their head coach in that system that's in place. You bring in DeAndre Hopkins. You get a full year of Kenyon Drake at the running back position. I just think that this is going to be a great matchup. Not necessarily a meaningful matchup, even though it is a divisional game. I just think matchup wise, it matches up very well because these two teams, it was a slugfest. Then next, you have the Dallas Cowboys against the Los Angeles Rams. And the reason that I scheduled this one is because these are two teams that were just on the brink of making the playoffs last year that could be making a playoff push this year, especially with the 7-team format. But the reason that I circled this one is the Rams are playing in their brand new stadium out in Los Angeles. So, kind of give you a perspective on why I chose that game. Week two, there's really two games that stick out to me. One, Carolina at Tampa Bay. And that's because that's Tom Brady's first home game. Hopefully, we get fans going. You know, it's still going to be meaningful because Tom Brady's going to be playing at home in Tampa for the very first time. And if we get fans, it'd be great to see the fans really accept Tom Brady as a Buccaneer. If not, it's still going to be a great game. A lot of people are going to be tuning into that. The next game is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Los Angeles Chargers. Once again, Chargers playing at home in their new stadium for the very first time since moving to Los Angeles. This is their start. This is their time to start collecting fans. They're going to have a tough go against the defending Super Bowl champs, but they're in their new stadium, so that's something to look out for. Then you have Monday night, New Orleans Saints at the Las Vegas Raiders. Guess what? Another new stadium in Las Vegas. And if you haven't taken a virtual tour of the Las Vegas Raiders brand new stadium, I'm suggesting right now, whether you're on the radio, listening to me on Fox Sports 980, 95.9 FM, or the iHeart Radio app, go take a virtual tour during the break of the Las Vegas over $1 billion stadium. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible, and that's going to be a Monday night game. Then you have many the Minnesota Vikings at Indianapolis, and another thing, Philip Rivers' very first home game with the Colts. That's something to look out for. Week three, got a couple of games in mind. Dallas at Seattle. Every time these two teams play each other, it's a very tough matchup. That's why I'm looking at that. Then you have Green Bay at the Saints. Once again, two amazing, potentially the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Aaron Rodgers going against Drew Brees. So that's something to look out for. And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the reason I circled this game is because this is what everybody thought the AFC Championship matchup was going to be. So I'm really looking forward to week three, Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Baltimore to face that Ravens team that had an outstanding run game last year, and they look to add to that outstanding run game once again this year. So that's a great matchup for week three. Before we move into week four, I want to give you the phone number one more time, 518-690-0980, 518-690-0980. If you don't feel comfortable calling into the show live on Fox Sports 980, all you have to do is go to Facebook, Fox Sports 980. I'm live there. You can tune into the show via Facebook. Also, comment in. I can take your comments live on air. Right to the side of me is my laptop. So if you want to comment in there, I can take your comments live on air as well without having to call in to a live local radio station. Week four, two matchups. One, the Philadelphia Eagles at the San Francisco 49ers. This is going to be a good matchup of a team with Super Bowl aspirations against a team coming off a Super Bowl appearance where they had a lead, they blew the lead, and often it's very difficult to manage that magical season that San Francisco had last year. So you take a look at the Eagles going into San Fran. That's going to be a very good matchup. You got Carson Wentz, all the concerns around him, whether he's going to make the playoffs. And yes, I know this is week 4. We're not worried about the playoffs in week 4, but they're going against a team trying to recreate that magical run that they had last year in San Francisco. So I think that's going to be a good matchup. Then, for the fans, this is strictly for the fans. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Cincinnati Bengals. You have Minshew Mania versus Big Balls Burrow in an amazing matchup between the Jaguars and the Bengals. And it might not be a great game because you have a rookie quarterback going against a quarterback that's still trying to get his feet wet in the NFL with Gardner Minshew, but just the names around it. You have Minshew Mania and Joey Big Ball Burrow. Enough said. That's it. Week 5, Philadelphia at Pittsburgh. One of the reasons is these two teams during the war merged as the Steagles. So there's a lot of history between them. They swapped franchises between the owners way back in the day. So kind of the historic game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers right there. Week 6, going to run through these really quickly. Baltimore at Philadelphia, going to be a great matchup there. You have Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Myles Garrett's first game back in Pittsburgh since the infamous helmet to Mason Rudolph. So you have that game. Then you have Green Bay at Tampa. You got Rodgers and Brady. There, in the first 6 weeks, we have 3 to 4 different matchups of potential GOAT quarterbacks, which is outstanding. Week 7, Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Every time these two teams face off, it's like a one possession game. You either win by 7, 6, 3, whatever the case may be. Looking forward to that. Week 7, Chargers at Miami. Potential battle of rookie quarterbacks. Do we see Tua Tagovailoa this early into the season? Do we see Justin Herbert this early into the season? You know, they were drafted one after another. There was talk about Miami taking Justin Herbert. They liked him more than Tua. Ultimately, they went with Tua and his injury history compared to Justin Herbert out of Oregon. That would be a great matchup to see. Also, week 8, San Francisco at Seattle. Once again, that whole division, every time they play one another, it's an absolute battle. Absolute battle. Dallas at Philadelphia. Once again, a divisional game, absolute battle. Then we go into week 9, Green Bay at San Francisco. A playoff rematch. You also have New Orleans Saints at Tampa Bay. Once again, two GOATs going at it. Different than week 1. Tom Brady's got more grasp of the offense. Bruce Arians can do a lot more with Tom Brady in week 9 as opposed to week 1. So this is going to be a better matchup than the week 1 matchup because you got a team that's really coming into their own week 9. They're cohesive and they're going against a New Orleans Saints team. But Tampa's at home. Do we have fans? That's what we need to know. Week 10, you have Seattle at the Rams. We know the history there. San Francisco at New Orleans. You know, another great game between Garoppolo and Drew Brees in a potential playoff matchup there. And then Monday night, the Vikings in Chicago, only for the simple fact of all the history between these two teams. Week 11, you have Thursday, Arizona at Seattle, another divisional game where they play each other tough. Then Tennessee at the Ravens, a rematch from the playoffs where Tennessee upset the Ravens in the playoffs. An outstanding magical run that came to the end at the hands, feet, legs, ball carrying ability of Derrick Henry, however you want to put it. A little quicker. Week 12, Thanksgiving. Anytime you get Thanksgiving games where you have everybody cooking and then you're off drinking and watching games, that's a great day. You know, holidays are not my thing, and having football to escape to is perfect for me. You have Houston at Detroit, Redskins at Dallas. For some reason, they're always against each other. And then Baltimore at Pitt. Even though I like that matchup, I hate that it's on a short week for Baltimore and Pittsburgh. These are two tough teams that always play each other outstandingly well. I would have rather seen it on a full week of rest as opposed to a Thursday night game. But it's nonetheless, it's still going to be an outstanding game. You also have Kansas City at Tom Brady Stadium in the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Gronks. So you have Tom Brady against Patrick Mahomes. The old versus the new. Is it the passing of the torch week 12? Chicago at Green Bay. Of course, the history there. Monday night, Seattle at Philadelphia, playoff rematch. There might not be a Jadeveon Clowney there for Seattle. So who's going to save them from Carson Wentz? Last time we seen them in a regular season, the wind got in the way of two great quarterbacks battling it out. Russell Wilson had one of his worst games of the season. That game, Carson Wentz as well. But Carson Wentz put him in a situation to win. Nelson Aguilar, unfortunately, dropped the ball. Unlike Aguilar, the list goes on. Week 14 or week 13, we have Dallas at Baltimore, another great game on Thursday night. Cincinnati at Miami. Tua, Joe Burrow. Who was going to be the best quarterback if neither got injured? We're going to go through that right there. Week 13. I think by then you definitely see Tua Tagovailoa just to get his feet wet going into the next season. So I definitely think he's playing by then. Week 14, Saints at Eagles. This has been such a prime time matchup where you don't know if you're going to get a blowout, you're going to get a close game. You've seen in the playoffs where Philly got off to that 14-0 start, looked like they had a chance. Ultimately, Saints come back, ball goes through Alshon's hand, the rest is history. That's Nick Foles' last season with the Philadelphia Eagles. Week 15, Chicago at Mini. Once again, great matchup, historic matchup. Kansas City at New Orleans. You have Patrick Mahomes going against one of the GOATs in Drew Brees. San Francisco at Dallas. Always a good matchup. Two historic teams that have won an absurd amount of Super Bowls going against each other in Week 15. Week 16, you have Mini at New Orleans. You know the magic behind there. Phantom calls, phantom non-calls, miracle at Minneapolis. The list goes on. Then you have Jacksonville hosting the Chicago Bears. Nick Foles, a reunion in Jacksonville. How's that going to go? Also, Philly at Dallas. Always a great game between those two. Week 17, Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Once again, Myles Garrett, the hatred for these two teams. And then you have Seattle at San Fran. Last year, Seattle and San Fran, they came down to the wire. They battled out the division. I see no difference this year. Week 17 could be that clinching, deciding factor between these two teams. This is For the Love of Sports on Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM, as well as our free iHeartRadio app. You want to get in touch with the show? What matchup are you looking forward to the most in the upcoming NFL season? Call in 518-690-0980, 518-690-0980. Also, you can comment on Facebook. I'll take your Facebook comments live on air. Coming up in 4 minutes, Sam Darnold's the best quarterback in the AFC East. Don't believe me? Listen to what I have to say next, and maybe it'll change your mind. This is For the Love of Sports on Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM.
Like 40% just by doing something they're already doing. Driving safe. That's right, 40% just by driving safe. Visit Allstate.com or call a local agent for a quote today and see just how much you can save when you drive safe with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Savings vary based on drive-wise and often safe driving discounts. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The iHeartRadio app, along with some of the most influential voices in the world, are making sure the graduating class of 2020 get the commencement speeches they deserve. Launching Friday, May 15th, Commencement, the podcast, featuring commencement speeches from Bill and Melinda Gates, Tom Brokaw, Henry Winkler, Hillary Clinton, Eli Manning, and more. Graduating or not, these are more than a commencement speech. This is about inspiration. Congratulations to the class of 2020. From iHeartRadio.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. It drove me crazy. It got so bad, I couldn't do my homework. I couldn't concentrate. I absolutely
Not supposed to be drinking in the studio, so don't tell anybody.
For any reason. I would have been humiliated if anyone found out how much my dad drank and how loud my mom screamed at him. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful. The only thing that happened is my mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. Her relationship with my dad really changed. I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings, or to Alateen. I wanted to see if I could have a better relationship with my dad. I'm sure glad I did. If someone's drinking troubling you, you might be surprised at what you can learn in an
Fox Sports.
Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just
What
like you.
up?
Call
How you been?
1-888-4-Al-Anon or go to alanon.org.
Adopt You as Kids presents.
How's the
Multiple
mom?
choice
How's the
parenting.
wife?
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen
Nice.
4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve!
It's always
Now
tough
good
getting
time?
on and off the
Okay,
schedule.
no
I know
problem.
all about that.
Or D,
Stayed up and
help her
watched
find a
UFC
new
last
boyfriend?
night,
I
and
know a great place to
now
live.
I'm exhausted.
Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As
It
a
was
parent,
great.
there
was
are no
a
perfect answers,
little
but
different
you
without
don't
the
have to be
fans.
perfect to be a
But
perfect
Greg
parent.
Hardy,
Thousands of
the
teens in
former
foster
Cowboy,
care will love you
he was
just the
fighting.
same.
He was the
For more
very
information
first
on how you can
one on
adopt,
the card,
visit
and he was like,
adoptuskids.org,
"Yeah, I was
a
listening to
public
the
service
announcer,
announcement from the
Daniel
U.S. Department
Cormier,
of Health and Human
and he
Services
made
about
adjustments
US
based
kids and
off
the Ad
what he
Council.
could hear from the
Dreaming
announcer.
of becoming
When
a
you have the
professional
fans,
race car
you're
driver?
not hearing that kind of stuff.
Speeding
So
around
that
empty
was pretty
parking
cool that
lots
he
is a
mentioned that.
stunt,
That was funny.
but going pro takes time.
But
So is quitting
I'm gonna
smoking.
put you on hold. I got
It's
about
not about
20
stopping
seconds.
in
Right,
one
man?
day. It's about starting with
All right,
day
thanks.
one. You just need to take that first step. Get started on your journey toward a smoke-free
If you guys
life
want to
with the
call in,
American Cancer Society.
518-690-0980,
We'll give you the support and resources you need to
518-690-0980.
quit smoking. The finish line is close.
Coming with the heat.
Learn more at cancer.org/smokeout. Fox Sports 980, now on 95.9 FM. Come on, man. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my pants. What's up with the beer? Making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explosion. Overpowering, over the competition.
This is For the Love of Sports on Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM. Today is your day, moms. And if you say knock them out, guess what we're going to do? We're going to knock them out. My mom just texted me, said, awesome so far. Knock out the show. So guess what, Mom? Mama's going to knock it out. I'm going to knock it out, Mama. So before I get into the whole Sam Darnold and Josh Allen and Jared Stidham and whoever you want to throw at the Dolphins to Ryan Fitzpatrick, I want to get into the debate of Sam Darnold versus Josh Allen. And nothing that comes out of this is a shot at Josh Allen. It's just the fact that I really like what Sam Darnold brings to the table. And I really do think that with Tom Brady being gone, even with Tom Brady there last year, I thought Sam Darnold had the potential to be the best quarterback in the AFC East. But it's hard to put somebody over a stature such as Tom Brady and what he brings and the history that he brings. But joining me on the Fox Sports 980 hotline, if you want to, 518-690-0980, Alec, the Eagle fanatic. Alec, happy Mother's Day to your family, and thanks for joining the show.
Happy Mother's Day to yours as well, brother. How's it going?
Very well. So we were talking off air yesterday about the whole Josh Allen, Sam Darnold. So obviously, me being a nice guy, I'm going to give you the floor first. I know you said you're a Josh Allen fan. I'm sure you did your homework. I'm going to give you the floor, and then I'll rebuttal. I'll work off what you have to say. The floor is yours.
Okay, well, first off, I love Sam Darnold. Don't get me wrong there. The guy doesn't move enough. He doesn't give himself the chance to extend the play. Josh Allen is more of a scrambler quarterback, if you will. He's a lot more maneuverable from.
You guys want to weigh in?
from a stat
Feel free to
sheet
comment.
and from an actual visual perspective. Okay, so hypothetically, Sam Darnold ran in for 2 touchdowns last year to Josh Allen's 9. Okay, but Josh Allen threw 20 more passes over the season and had a less completion rating than Sam Darnold did. Darnold had like 62% to Josh Allen's 58. So it kind of balances itself out. You know, Darnold only had 13 gives himself a chance. So I don't see him maturing enough, and especially, and this is always going to hang over his head going to see ghosts and whatnot throughout the game. Granted, he wanted to play through whatever was going on, but you also got to be safe in the game at the same time. So that being said, you take the 4 now, good sir, and then we can meet in the middle.
All right, so I like what you're saying, and I understand the different avenue that you went with Josh Allen being a mobile quarterback, and that's today's game. You have to have a mobile quarterback. You take a look at Patrick Mahomes, you take a look at Lamar Jackson, you take a look at Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, even Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of different mobile quarterbacks. Now, the thing is, what wins in the playoffs? Patrick Mahomes, yes, he can move in the pocket. But what can he also do? He can pass. Aaron Rodgers, he can move in the pocket. But what also can he do? He can pass. You take a look at Lamar Jackson. I don't care what the stats say last year. I don't care that he had his highest completion percentage. He was not that great of a passer. You take a look at Josh Allen. He was not that great of a passer. He relied on a lot of quick screens, a lot of quick slants, got the ball out of his hand really quickly. I like that. Often you see with Josh Allen, he has a very strong arm. He doesn't like to throw wide receivers open. He's more of a see it, throw it kind of guy, and he relies way too much on his arm strength. So I do like Josh Allen. I think he's trending in the right way. I think he had an outstanding year for making that 1-2 jump, year 1 to year 2. Now, the thing I'm going to present to you is you take a look at Sam Darnold. No, he's not the mobile quarterback that you see with Josh Allen and these other guys that I mentioned, but he can move around in the pocket a little bit. You take a look at that offensive line. That offensive line was atrocious last year. Absolutely. The Eagles had 10 sacks in what felt like just the first quarter. Just the first quarter, it felt like they got 10 sacks. Obviously, Sam Darnold wasn't back there, but none of the difference. You still had a quarterback back there that had absolutely no time. 27.5% of the time, pressure got there in under 2.5 seconds, which was, yeah. And everybody wants to talk about the Bills having a bad offensive line. I think they were middle of the pack. I think the Bills had a middle of the pack offensive line. Their rushing game was there a little better, averaged about 4.5 yards a carry compared to the Jets, who averaged 3.9. And that's not even including the fact that their number one prize free agent in Le'Veon Bell averaged 3.2 yards a carry. They actually averaged, the running backs averaged less than a yard before contact, 0.7 before contact, which is absolutely the worst. So you take a look at that he's working behind that. He's got absolutely no run game, which leads to no play action. He has wide receivers Jamison Crowder and Robbie Anderson, who both, Crowder a little better than Robbie Anderson, both inconsistent. He's coming off mono, and he still had an outstanding year. You take a look at his last 8 games, Sam Darnold, when he finally started getting his feet back under him after mono and coming back, because even though mono is a 2 to 4 week thing, the tiredness, the fatigue, everything that comes with that lasts for a month or 2 possibly. So you got to understand that you're playing a physical game at the quarterback position. You're mentally fatigued, you're physically fatigued, and he still went out and went 6-2 in his last 8 games with 13 touchdowns compared to 4 interceptions, threw for 243 yards, averaged 23 points a game, all in the last 8 games when he finally started to get his feet underneath him from that mono. So you're taking a look at a team that had a horrible offensive line, no run game, and their wide receivers are very inconsistent. Sam Darnold had mono, coming off of mono, and still had an outstanding year, especially those last 8 games where they went 6-2, and he had a 95 QB rating and had the 23 points a game. You take a look at Josh Allen. He had an outstanding defense, but that offense was atrocious. When you have John Brown and you have and you have Cole Beasley and you have Devin Singletary and Frank Gore and better pieces around you than Sam Darnold did.
I like Robbie Anderson and Crowder, like you had pointed out. They need to give him more. Le'Veon is just Le'Veon. You don't know with him. You just don't know. Like, I was never confident, and in my eyes, the Jets really didn't get talked about enough, and neither did the Bills, because it was always about New England, because of all the front runner pass fans and everything else. Like, you also, your man too is going to prove something this year. I'll tell you right now, I have a lot of faith in him. Stay healthy, stay strong, and he'll be awesome for Miami. I think he would be great for that franchise. I really do.
I like that, but like I said, we're probably more a year away from Tua. I think we're going to see Tua more towards the end of the year. But going back to Sam Darnold, like he's overcome all this and still put together an outstanding stretch. You take a look at the Bills; they went 1-3 down the stretch. Now, granted, you could throw out the last game against the Jets because you know he only played about a quarter of that game. So 1-2 down the stretch. But the thing is, they were 7-0 when they scored over 20 points. They were 3-6 when they didn't score 20 points. Like, you're in the NFL, bud. You need to be able to score. I'm talking about the Bills. I'm talking about the Bills. The Bills were 3-6 when they didn't score 20 points. You're telling me, as great as Josh Allen is, that he cannot get his team to consistently score 20 plus points. Consistently. With that defense there, you score 20 points and you're 7-0. Now, you could take
Scored a lot of their points for him too. Turnovers and picks and you name it. I mean, get up there.
exactly why I'm saying Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the AFC East going into next year. I understand that, Josh Allen has come up clutch. That's great. But he's had many opportunities to come up clutch when your defense is keeping you in the game. Now, I'm not saying the Jets' defense is terrible, but they were middle of the pack. They were ranked probably 15th, 16th, somewhere in that range. They were very inconsistent as well. They found their footing more towards the end of the season when Sam Darnold went 6-2 down the stretch. But you take a look at Josh Allen, 4-4 down the stretch. 4-4 down the stretch. The last 8 games. You had a chance to win that division. You had a chance to beat the Patriots. The defense did their job. Josh Allen didn't do his. You had a chance to beat the Texans. The defense did their job. Josh Allen didn't do his. And this isn't to say Josh Allen is a terrible quarterback. I just think Josh Allen needs another year to progress. He needs to be a better passer. He's, I would say, a better passer than Lamar Jackson, but he doesn't have those feet.
Arnold come from the same draft class.
Yes, they did. So they're always going to be compared to one another. But, what I'm saying is, you take a look at Jared Stidham, the unknown is there. I think Jared Stidham's going to be okay. I think he's going to hold his own this year. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick. We know what we're getting with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's either going to throw 5 touchdowns or he's going to throw 5 interceptions. So that's basically what you're getting with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yep.
He starts out coming out the tunnel throwing interceptions.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. A whole nother show. But what I like about Ryan Fitzpatrick, he knows where he stands. He's that veteran guy. He's gone from team to team. He's that stopgap. And I think he's going to do a great job of trying to help produce wins for the Dolphins, as well as kind of grooming Tua to get prepared either later for this season or the following season. And he knows he has an ego, but he doesn't have a huge ego where he's not going to come off the field. He understands his role. His role is to be the quarterback until the quarterback of the future is ready to play. So I actually think that's an outstanding situation for Tua and for Ryan Fitzpatrick because he gets a chance to show he's still got it, and he knows that eventually his time's going to come to an end in Miami. So I love the situation there between those two.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. I mean, it's one of those things like Ryan, no matter what team he goes to, whether it be the Jets, whether it be the Buccaneers, whoever, he brings the same locker room physique. You know what I mean? Like, everybody loves being around him. So people don't mind, backing him up, and they trust him on the field. And they all know what to expect too, just like the fans do, either 5 touchdowns or 5 interceptions. It's one of those things. It's to say it like that because he's so awesome, but it's just, like you said, I think it's a great situation. Hopefully he doesn't teach Tua the same thing, 5 touchdowns or 5 interceptions. You come out throwing 5 touchdowns every game.
Yeah, that's what Miami Dolphin fans can hope. And I really like that the fact that he chose the jersey number 1. Speaking of audience of one, audience of God, also a first round pick. He wants to be that number 1 starting quarterback. I really like the jersey pick. I know a lot of people are talking about the Dan Marino on retiring 13. Absolutely not. And even Tua said that Dan Marino's the GOAT. I would never even think about taking number 13, but I do like taking number 1. Kyler Murray wears number 1. Cam Newton wears number 1. But other than that, it's really a kicker number. So I really like the fact that he chose number 1. And that's where we are in sports, where it's so slow that I'm telling you how great it is that he chose number 1 as a jersey number.
I know, man. It's so bad.
All right, man. I'm going to let you go. Yeah, exactly. It's like the giving tree. Have you ever heard the story of the giving tree? Like, they just keep giving you everything that they got until they have no more. You want apples? I got apples. You want shade? I got shade. You want branches? I got branches. You want firewood? I got firewood. You want to build a house? You can cut me down and build a house. Same thing with the NFL. They've given us every single thing you can possibly ask for. So the NFL right now in this trying time is exactly what we need. They are the giving tree right now, and we just keep coming back for more and more and more. So I'm going to let you go. I appreciate the phone call, and tell your family Happy Mother's Day, and let your wife enjoy the day, okay?
Absolutely. Be sure to tune into my podcast later on this afternoon.
Now, what's the name of it, and where can I find it?
On Spotify and on Google Podcasts currently. I got to make like 5 or 6 more in order to be eligible for iTunes.
Yep.
Well, pretty soon. But we're going to do a special Mother's Day segment today, just talking about giving a rundown on the schedule, mostly Eagles talk, and going to have a Patriots fan on this afternoon with me, and we're going to kind of get into what he thinks about Brady not being there because he's been a fan of New England since Drew Bledsoe and before that.
He's one of a kind.
Yeah, he's been with them since the very beginning. So we're going to get his outtake. It's probably going to be 20, 30-minute segment, but we're going to do it on Anchor, the podcasting app, and then we're going to do a Facebook Live segment as well.
All right, man. I appreciate it. I look forward to listening to it, and have a good day. All right, man? That was Alec the Eagle Fanatic calling in, as he often does. Josh Allen fan, that's okay because it is a mobile quarterback league, but I also think Sam Darnold's passing abilities are just way too much to compare to Josh Allen. And at the end of the day, you need to be a great passer to win in this league. And Sam Darnold definitely has that above Josh Allen. He talked about his podcast. He does a special podcast off to the side. So if you want to tune into that, that's going to be out later today on Google Play and Spotify, he said. So if you want to tune into that, there will be more information on that. This is For the Love of Sports on Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM, coming up in 4 minutes. Some things that I've noticed about The Last Dance coming out. If those of you that don't know it, The Last Dance is a documentary on the Chicago Bulls dynasty of the 90s. So I'm going to get into that, what I've noticed a little bit. Also want to talk some Jared Stidham and why everybody needs to calm down on writing off the Patriots. We'll talk about that next. This is For the Love of Sports on Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM.
As you and our community deal with a new way of life.
Working from home and social distancing and the continuing question of when will things get back to normal.
We know that one of the things you might be worried about is paying your bills.
We're here to help, and we'd like to redirect your mind to a state of positivity.
We've got up to 12 chances every day for you to text in and win $1,000.
We hope you and your family stay safe. Keep your phone charged and your radio on for the latest on what's happening.
We will be here with everything you need to know and another chance to get your bills paid.
Coming up on iHeartRadio.
Thinking of advertising in these trying times? Think about this. Radio reaches 92% of Americans looking for solutions on what to buy, and more importantly, where to buy it. Whether it's delivery, takeout, or online, let our experts at iHeartMedia build a plan that will help your business grow during these trying times. Call now.
What's up?
1-844-BUY-RADIO. That's 1-844-BUY-RADIO. iHeartMedia, your trusted advertising source.
One more segment to go.
Time of need.
Were you born from 1945
Talking
to
Jared Stidham,
1965?
talking
People
Chicago
born
Bulls, so
during these
stay
years are
tuned.
5 times more likely
gonna be
to have
exciting.
hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So
Bron
even if
fans,
you
you might
try
want to
to
chill
eat
out.
right,
You might not want to watch this
exercise, and
episode.
take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without
You want to call into
feeling
the
or
show, you
looking
feel
sick.
free, 518-690-0980. Talk
Hepatitis C
NFL
can
schedule.
cause serious
What
health
game are you
problems,
looking forward to?
including liver
Also,
damage,
Sam
liver
Darnold is the
failure,
best
or
QB
even
in the
liver
AFC
cancer.
East. If you want to call in,
Getting
debate on
tested
that,
is the only
feel
way to
free.
know if you're
And we're
infected
getting
with
into some
hepatitis
Chicago
C.
Bulls,
That's why the
90s
CDC
era, The Last
recommends
Dance. I wanted to
everyone
talk about
born
some
from
of the things I noticed from
1945
there.
to
And the Patriots
1965
with Jared
get a
Stidham.
blood test
Don't
for
write them
hepatitis
off
C.
just yet because they
Treatments
still
are
have a
available
chance
that can
to
cure
do
this
outstanding
disease. So
this
talk to your
year.
doctor
Maybe
about
not
getting
Super
tested.
Bowl
It
contenders,
could
but
save
definitely
your life.
playoff contenders. We'll
A
get into
message
that
from
too.
the CDC.
So if you want to call in,
Our
518-690-0980.
Veterans risk it all to protect our freedom. One of the best ways to say thank you is to volunteer to support them. At a time in history where kindness is a virtue, volunteering at a therapy bag event, teaching a craft class, or simply helping veterans at a hospital means a lot. For over 47 years, Help Heal Veterans, a not-for-profit organization, with the support of citizens like you, has created, manufactured, and distributed therapeutic art and crafts projects for our veterans and military at no charge to them. As a national veteran service organization, Help Heal Veterans supports VA hospitals, patients at home, and our active military. Together, Help Heal Veterans and volunteers like you have delivered over 32 million therapy kits to injured and recovering veterans. To volunteer or learn more, visit healvets.org. That's healvets.org.
Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM.
When I was young, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out on the streets. Though back at the time, I never thought I'd see a...
Ain't that true? Ain't a woman alive that could take your mama's place. Once again, happy Mother's Day. Giving you guys some homework. So everybody that's tuning in right now, giving you guys some homework. Make sure your mom has an outstanding day today. And also, just down the road, every couple of weeks, whatever the case may be, if you want to do it every day, do it every day. Just give your mom some love and let her know that you appreciate everything that she's done for you, because at the end of the day, they deserve way more than one measly day. And just shout out to all the moms out there with the quarantine going on. Definitely get more of an understanding for exactly what they do, how they do it, and how much of a superhero they really are. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. There ain't a woman alive that could take your place. And just remember that you are appreciated. This is For the Love of Sports on Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM, as well as our free iHeart Radio app. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be tuning in. So, The Last Dance. We got 4 more hours left. We got episodes 7 and 8 coming out this Sunday, tonight, at 9 o'clock. Then, next week, that's it, the wrap up. I don't think that it's enough. I need more. And it may be because there's no NBA, there's no hockey, there's no baseball. So I'm getting that itching feeling for sports. Or it may be that it's just that good of a documentary. Now, I will say there is some criticism that it really showed Jordan in a different light. The fact that you want to call him a bad teammate, go ahead, call him a bad teammate. But for the most part, he was competitive. He had that fire, that desire. He didn't care about anything other than winning. He cared about his teammates. You take a look at, he went out and got Dennis Rodman from Las Vegas. He took a chance on all these players. He's taken them under their wing. He's taught them, whether it was, you know, hardship teaching or leaning on them and taking them under their wing. No matter what, he cared about his guys. Now, the things that I've noticed are more on social media than in the actual show. Obviously, you see some physicality there, but I don't quite think that the younger generation, and me being 31, I caught the end of Jordan's career. I do remember the more physical NBA than maybe most of you do. You're sitting there talking about LeBron and Kevin Durant and how they could drop 40, 50, 60 easily back in the day. I'm telling you right now, there was no three-point shot back then. Teams were taking 10 to 15 threes a game. You got James Harden jacking up 9 to 10 a game himself. There's no that back in the day. Now, if you think LeBron and Kevin Durant and James Harden are just going to magically travel back to the 80s and 90s and start jacking up 9, 10 threes, you're wrong. They're going to have to round their game around the 80s and 90s play. Now, there's two players that changed the game outstandingly. You had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who helped create the lane violation, and then the Jordan rules. You had the Michael Jordan rules. So those are two guys that really changed the game. Then you had guys like Reggie Miller and Steph Curry, and, even though that's a bigger of a gap, but these guys that helped the three-pointer become as prevalent as it's become. So you take a look where LeBron falls in that. He's the greatest of this era. I don't think he's the greatest of all time. 6'8", 240 pounds, 250 pounds, whatever he is, can run a 40-yard dash in 4.4. The guy should be dominating way more than he absolutely is. And I think looking at social media, watching the younger generation actually watch The Last Dance and not fully comprehend what exactly they're seeing, it just goes to show that people have an agenda. You can find stats that are good. You can find stats that are bad. I could say that a guy went 5 for 10 from three-point range, which is outstanding. You could tell me, hey, the guy jacked up 10 threes in a game. Like, there's a different perspective on everything. So you have these LeBron fans, these newer basketball generation, not necessarily LeBron fans, but newer basketball generational fans that are putting a different spin and have an agenda that no matter what they see, no matter what they watch from The Last Dance, their point of view is never going to change. And that's fine. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. But don't talk stupid. Don't talk stupid. Jordan is the GOAT. Growing up, watching the end of Jordan's career, watching how physical it was, and you're talking about a guy that had Mamba mentality before Mamba had Mamba mentality. He would go into visitors' locker rooms and say, hey, I'm going to drop 40 on you. And guess what? He would drop 50 on you. He had that killer mindset. He had that glow, that aura about him that people just grasped onto. They hung on to him. You take a look at the 84 Olympics before he went to the Chicago Bulls. That's when people started falling in love with him. That Chicago Bulls team was horrible. They had no fans. They had no support, no nothing. They were known as the traveling cocaine circus. And then you had a young Michael Jordan coming in and completely changing that game. Not without Jerry Krause, not without Phil Jackson, not without Scottie Pippen. But that's the same thing for LeBron. You take a look at LeBron. He needed Ray Allen. He needed Dwayne Wade. He needed Pat Riley. He needed Eric Spoelstra. Whatever. The list goes on. But Michael Jordan changed the game. with that killer mindset. People wanted to be like Mike. That Gatorade commercial, that Nike commercial. Let's be like Mike. That's something that's rung out through my career, my life, my childhood. And that's still prevalent for today. A lot of people still want to be like Mike. Or you scream Kobe. Nobody's out there screaming LeBron, and that's not a shot against LeBron. It just shows you why he's a different icon compared to LeBron and all these other guys. Not to mention that, love it or hate it, that Michael wasn't getting into the political side. You have people going to LeBron, shut up and dribble the ball. But then you got the same people mad at Michael Jordan for not speaking out politically. Like, you need to pick a side. And I think it's more my kind of people that are sitting there saying, well, you need more people to speak out, or you don't need to speak out, you need to shut up and dribble the ball. That's a story for another day. But you take a look at Michael Jordan, the fact that his agent did a great job of making him an icon. He did McDonald's commercials, Gatorade commercials, Nike commercials, Spike Lee commercials, everything. He paved the way for guys like LeBron to become an icon, guys like Kobe to become an icon. That's why he will always be the GOAT. And it's more than just what he did on the court, it's what he did off the court as well. This is For the Love of Sports on Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM, as well as the free iHeartRadio app. Want to touch on the Jared Stidham thing. Tom Brady's gone. Big shoes to fill. But I like Jared Stidham a lot. He had a great 2017 at Auburn. 2018, he lost some pieces. He lost Kerryon Johnson. He lost a couple of pieces on the offensive line. Two of his wide receivers tore their ACLs in the spring. So he had a really hard go about in 2018. Hence why his level of play wasn't quite what it was in 2017. But I think he's shown great traits. He's a leader. He can throw the ball. He's got good mechanics. He's willing to listen. He's very teachable. All things that Bill Belichick likes in a quarterback. And if you listen to different interviews, you already have Bill Belichick calling him Stid. Not Jared Stidham, not my QB, not the quarterback, but Stid. He's already got a fondness for Jared Stidham. And when asked about going into the NFL draft, what was his best physical trait? He said, I think my ability to throw the ball, being able to make every single throw, regardless whether it's a shallow crossing route or a deep post or an outcut from the opposing hash, I think I can make the throws and put the ball where it needs to be. Accuracy. Something that Bill Belichick harps upon. Best NFL attribute. I think my leadership. I think, again, if you're going to draft somebody to run your organization, they have to be able to lead those men in the locker room. That's a very big thing. That's something I take pride in, being a leader. Tom Brady, a leader that helped take the creation of Bill Belichick's system and really bring it to life. Because if Tom Brady isn't leading that system, we don't know what we get from that system. So another thing, check. Then you take areas that need improvement. Mainly my footwork, keeping those cleats in the ground, really understanding the NFL drops and that kind of thing. Just because I didn't do it at Auburn, really trying to hit home with those things. So working on his mechanics. Check. Another thing that Bill Belichick likes. A guy with great mechanics, a guy that's going to be a leader, and a guy with accuracy. That's all the type of things you're going to get with Jared Stidham. I think while I don't think he's going to be the franchise quarterback that maybe people are hoping that he's going to be a great stopgap. He's going to be a fringe starter / backup. I think he's going to do a capable job in this 2020 season. You take a look at that division, the AFC East, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, pencil in whoever for the Dolphins. I think 9 wins is really what gets you that division. 10 wins is the icing on the cake. So if the Patriots can somehow manage to get 9 wins, I think they do a great job of winning this division. This is For the Love of Sports on Fox Sports 980 and 95.9 FM, as well as our free iHeartRadio app. Tune in next Sunday at 11 a.m. And once again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. You are appreciated.